So here's the Axial SCX10 Dingo Kit version. This is the first SCX10 I've built. I really enjoyed the build process. It was a little different than other things that I've built. As far as the looks go, it looks pretty good. It's a little boxy. The crusher flares help that out quite a bit with the boxiness, as far as helping the look out a little bit. I went with the black on green paint scheme that I've used in all my Axial vehicles, just for a consistent look. I think it turned out really well, and I used the supplied interior details. I kept this one simple as far as the electronics go. I didn't do too much fancy with it. I went with traxxas servos, traxxas speed controls, and an axial motor. These have been detailed in another video. I'm running lipos in it. I've read that they're not so good, but I don't think I'm going to destroy my speed control because I don't run it so fast. It actually doesn't run fast at all due to that 55 turn motor. It doesn't have any top speed. And I'm using this mainly for trail and getting around a little bit. See, I've accumulated a little bit of mud in there from my recent first drive. I like the vehicle. As far as the vehicle goes, it's a pretty good vehicle. Right off the bat, I had to switch to the 4-link rear suspension because the 3-link, the torque from the motor was actually popping the rear axle loose. So I had to switch to the 4-link, which offers a much more secure connection, but it also tilted my drive shaft back just a little bit, which doesn't seem to affect performance. I went ahead and ordered the correct length links from RC 4-wheel drive, but I wanted to talk a little bit about it in its stock form as it came out, with only the things that came out of the box, before I started doing too many upgrades to it. It performs real well with the 55 turn motor in it. As I said before, it has no top speed, but that wasn't a quest for mine in this vehicle. I think I may, if I build another SCX10 in the future, I may make it a little bit faster, but I'm going to keep the 55 turn in this one, just because it performed pretty well. I was absolutely pleased with my performance, and I think that it's a good setup. The one thing I would change, I was too impatient to wait to order bead locks, so I just used the stock wheels. That's already biting me a little bit. I wish I had waited, but it is what it is. I have the stock wheels on, stock plastic wheels on now, glued on. So they're pretty much on there. I could take methods to get them off, or I could just order a new pair of tires and a new pair of wheels and tires and go from there. But I'm a little more interested in getting bead locks on my Wraith than this, so we'll see how the progression goes. I installed the simple LED system just to add a little looks to it, and I also added a small power switch so that I can get the lights on and off with that flick of that switch, just so they don't stay on all the time. You got 4 in the front and 2 reds in the rear. And they do a little bit of lighting up. It's mainly an aesthetic thing from my point of view. I definitely won't be going out in the middle of the night using just those headlights to try to light my path. The build was pretty simple. Axial does an okay job of making sure that all their parts are there. I never had a problem with all the parts being there. It's just what bag they're in is a different matter. I've experienced a lot of varying degrees of accuracy with the manual. This is probably the worst manual I've dealt with as far as accuracy and explaining the parts correctly, explaining the positioning of parts correctly. As a person who's built more than one kit, especially from Axial, it was a little, I think it may have been a little easier for me to get the gist of maybe where Axial's trying to go as far as what goes where, but I don't know if this would be a good kit for a beginner to try to deal with, and it may be the perfect kit for a beginner to deal with. Maybe it has a lot to do with your personal skill. I don't want to say it's a hard kit, it's just that the things aren't always labeled correctly in the manuals. This is well documented on the web. There's a lot of resources out there to help you out, but yeah, just a few simple things that need to be adjusted and moved around and such. As I said before, I went with the black on green paint scheme to match my other Axial vehicles. I did the recessed headlights instead of the stickers. What they do is supply you with a small lens, and so you just mask off the light box and install the lens behind. And I painted that, hand painted that, and did a few aesthetic things to it. The interior is all stock. One thing I noticed, in order to keep the body square, for some reason, the body posts are not aligned. My striping goes aligned, the interior where it goes aligned, but the body posts, in order to keep the body straight on the chassis, they don't line up straight. So I don't know what that's about, but just with a simple little twist, I cut the holes at a slightly off angle, and that went together fine. I would say it's a pretty good kit. The XL5 works great, except for the fact that it has no drag brake. I went ahead and put an aluminum servo horn on there. It already came with the kit version, at least already comes with the aluminum bottom links and the aluminum steering links, which is a big bonus as far as I'm concerned, because that's something you're going to want to, if you don't have, you want to put on there as soon as possible. Plastic bottom plate, which is not too big of a deal. Some users may want to switch that over, but that's not one of my priorities. As far as upgrades, I don't really know what I want to start upgrading on this. Of course, aluminum knuckles and such, the aluminum steering hardware. And since I went with the rear battery mounting position, I added a lead weight bar up front in order to give the front that little bit of weight that I lost by placing the battery in the back. The wheels are also weighted. There's lead tape inside the wheels before I glued them on. That cannot be changed now that the wheels are glued on. Well, it cannot be changed easily now that the wheels are glued on, but I knew that going in, so that's just the way it is at this point. As far as upgrades, I definitely want to upgrade the bumpers and I guess these are Nerf bars or slider bars or whatever you want to call them. RC 4-wheel drive makes some real nice steel product. I believe it's steel product to go all around it. Probably leave the lights on there. I want to, like I said, I ordered aluminum upper links for the suspension so I can get rid of, I'm going to leave the 3-link up front, but I'm going to switch the rear to the aluminum links. I've read that the top links need to be 11 millimeters less than the lower links my lower links are 91, so I ordered 80mm upper links from RC 4-wheel drive, and they're on the way. It seems pretty durable, but due to the fact that this isn't a basher, I don't expect it to see too much damage. I took it through a little bit of water and it performed just as well as I thought it would. I made sure I WD-40'd it up and lubed and cleaned it off fairly well. Obviously not well enough if I'm still pulling these chunks of mud off. But it pushed through the mud and did what it was supposed to do. No top speed, like I said. I don't even have an estimate on the top speed, but I'd seriously doubt it's even hitting 30 miles an hour. All that doesn't matter once you get out on the trail, though, because it's a blast. It has plenty of torque to get through what you need to get through. The tires are the R35 compound from Axial, so that they're moderately sticky. The knobs aren't as pronounced as maybe they could be, but they do a well enough job of pushing through and climbing and getting through what you need to get it through. Of course, the body is a personal thing. A lot of people are going with brighter colors than I went with. I started with a black Exoterra, black and green. I did the black and green Wraith, so my Axial shelf has a nice little set of black and green vehicles. I call it the Exo Squad. And so I'm real pleased with this SCX10, and I look forward to upgrading it and having a lot more fun with it. I don't think I'll be getting a winch or anything. I don't see myself towing too much with this. I'm actually looking at purchasing another one just because this one was so much fun. I want to make another one that's maybe a little faster, a little less torque. So there's a few thoughts on the Axial SCX10 Dingo version. This is the kit version. Great vehicle. Haven't done too much driving through it. I've put maybe 3 or 4 packs on it, but it's a very good vehicle. It has great articulation. Can get through most anything that you want to throw at it, and can be tuned to go as fast or as slow, or as as crawl as much or as little as you need it to. Great vehicle. I highly recommend it.